Grandma kept a box of borax under her sink her whole life, and once you see what it can actually do, you'll understand why she never threw it out. From the laundry room to the backyard, from pest control to rust removal, these 45 borax hacks cover nearly every corner of your home, and some of them are so clever you'll wonder how you managed without them. 45. Remove tough stains from washable fabrics. A grass-stained knee or a grease-splattered shirt doesn't have to mean the end of a garment. Dissolve half a cup of borax into 2 cups of warm water. Borax raises the pH of the water just enough to help break down the proteins and oils that make up many common stains. For set-in or older stains, let the fabric soak overnight instead and check the spot before drying since heat can lock in whatever hasn't fully lifted. 44. Clean toilets. Did you know that there is a way to get a toilet bowl truly clean without a bottle of harsh blue cleaner? Sprinkle half a cup of borax directly into the bowl, let it sit for a full hour or overnight if heavily stained, then scrub with a toilet brush before flushing. The mild alkalinity of borax loosens mineral deposits and grime clinging to the porcelain. Grandma often added a splash of vinegar right before scrubbing for extra fizzing power against tougher rings. 43. Clean outdoor plastic patio furniture. Weathered plastic furniture left outside all summer collects a layer of grime that a garden hose alone never fully removes. Mix a 1/4 cup of borax into a gallon of warm water. Borax cuts through the combination of dirt. Let the furniture air dry completely in the sun afterward, which also helps prevent new mildew from taking hold right away. 42. Kill ants. An ant trail marching across the kitchen floor is nothing new, and neither is Grandma's fix for it. Mix equal parts borax and sugar. The sugar draws worker ants in. Keep this mixture well out of reach of pets and children, since borax is genuinely harmful if swallowed in any real quantity, and expect it to take several days to fully clear out a colony rather than working instantly. 41. Clean and deodorize garbage cans. A trash can that smells even after the bag is changed needs more than a quick rinse. Sprinkle a generous layer of borax across the bottom of the empty can. Add hot water. Borax neutralizes the acidic. Once it's dry, leave a light dusting of borax in the bottom before adding a new liner to help keep odors from returning as quickly. 40. Remove oxidation from metals. Dull, oxidized metal doesn't always need a trip to the hardware store for a specialty polish. Make a thick paste from borax in a small amount of water. The mild abrasive quality of borax helps lift the dulled oxide layer without gouging the metal underneath it. This works well on brass, copper, and chrome, but it's best avoided on aluminum specifically, since borax can react with and discolor that particular metal over repeated use. 39. Boost laundry detergent performance. Grandma never used a full scoop of detergent without adding something alongside it, and this was usually the reason why. Add half a cup of borax directly to the wash along with your regular detergent. Borax binds with the calcium and magnesium in hard water. Clothes come out of the wash noticeably brighter and less prone to that dingy, stiff feeling hard water often leaves behind. 38. Clean porcelain sinks. A porcelain sink covered in water spots and soap residue responds well to the same basic scrubbing method used on a bathtub. Sprinkle borax across a damp sink, scrub with a sponge in small circles. The gentle abrasive cuts through mineral buildup and grime without scratching the glazed surface the way a harsher scouring pad might. For a sink with deeper staining, let a thicker paste sit on the trouble spots for 10 minutes before scrubbing for noticeably better results. 37. Remove urine odors from mattresses. An accident on a mattress doesn't have to mean replacing it entirely. Sprinkle a generous, even layer of borax over the affected area. Once the mattress is fully dry, let it sit for several hours or overnight. Borax absorbs the moisture left behind while neutralizing the ammonia-based compounds responsible for the lingering smell. For a mattress with a stronger odor, blot the area with a mild vinegar solution first and let it dry completely before applying the borax. 36. Make a homemade floor cleaner. Why buy a bottle of floor cleaner when the same result comes from a half-cup measuring cup in a mop bucket? Dissolve half a cup of borax into a gallon of warm water, then mop the floor as you normally would. Borax lifts grease and grime from sealed floors while leaving behind no sticky residue the way some store-bought cleaners can. Let the floor air dry rather than towel drying it, since a little extra time lets the solution finish breaking down any remaining grime. 35. Deodorize cat litter boxes. A litter box that smells within a day of changing, it needs more than a fresh scoop of litter. Sprinkle a thin layer of borax directly into the bottom of a clean litter box before adding fresh litter on top. Borax helps neutralize ammonia odors from urine at the source rather than letting them build up in the litter itself. Keep the layer light and always covered by litter, since borax should never be left somewhere a curious cat could directly ingest it. 34. Wash painted walls. Fingerprints and scuff marks along a hallway wall come off far easier than most people expect. Mix 2 tablespoons of borax into a gallon of warm water, then wipe the wall down with a soft sponge dampened in the solution, rinsing with a clean. The mild solution lifts grime and light, scuffs without the harshness of a stronger cleaner that could dull or streak painted surfaces. Always test an inconspicuous spot first on flat or matte paint, since Grandma knew a paint finish could sometimes react differently than a glossier one. 33. Kill weeds in sidewalk cracks and driveways. Did you know borax can be used as a highly targeted herbicide for weeds growing in pavement cracks? Dissolve 10 tablespoons of borax in 2.5 cups of water and apply the solution directly to unwanted weeds using a small spray bottle, being very careful to avoid surrounding lawn areas or garden beds because borax can accumulate in soil and inhibit plant growth. The boron in borax is toxic to plants at high concentrations, which kills weeds growing through pavement without chemicals that might contaminate soil more broadly. Repeat application after rain. 32. Clean glass shower doors with soap scum buildup. Cloudy glass shower doors covered in soap scum clean up with far less effort than a scraper and elbow grease. Make a paste from borax and a small amount of water. Spread it across the glass with a damp sponge. The mild abrasive breaks down the combination of soap residue and mineral deposits that build up on glass over time. Squeegee the door dry afterward, and the scum is noticeably slower to return compared to a quick rinse alone. 31. Remove rust stains from metal surfaces. Did you know that there's a way to lift a rust stain without reaching for a harsh acid-based remover? Make a thick paste from borax and lemon juice instead of water. Apply it directly to the rust stain. The natural acid in the lemon juice helps break the rust's bond with the metal, while the borax adds gentle scrubbing power. Rinse thoroughly and repeat for stubborn stains, since older rust may need a second treatment to fully lift. 30. Kill cockroaches. Roaches hiding behind appliances respond to the same basic trick that works on ants. Mix equal parts borax and sugar, then dust a thin layer along baseboards under the refrigerator. The sugar lures them in while the borax powder clings to their legs and is ingested during grooming. Keep the mixture in areas completely out of reach of pets and children and expect it to take 1 to 2 weeks to noticeably thin out a real infestation. 29. Make homemade dishwasher detergent. A cabinet running low on dishwasher pods doesn't have to mean an emergency store run. Combine equal parts borax and washing soda. Borax softens the water inside the dishwasher, while washing soda helps cut through grease. Add a splash of white vinegar to the rinse compartment for extra shine, since the homemade mix can occasionally leave a faint film without it. 28. Soften hard water in the washing machine. Grandma's era knew this trick so well that an entire brand built its reputation on it. Add half a cup of borax directly to the washing machine drum before starting a load, particularly in areas with notably hard tap water. Borax binds to the calcium and magnesium ions responsible for hard water. Clothes washed this way come out feeling noticeably softer and looking brighter over time. 27. Clean heavily soiled pots and pans. A pot with baked-on food from last night's dinner doesn't need to soak for a full day to come clean. Sprinkle a few tablespoons of borax directly into the pot. Add hot water to cover the soiled area. The alkaline solution loosens burnt and dried food far faster than plain water alone. For particularly stubborn pots, bring the water to a light simmer with the borax already dissolved in it before letting it soak, cutting the scrubbing time down considerably. 26. Remove soap scum from bathroom surfaces. Soap scum clinging to tile and fixtures throughout a bathroom responds to more than just a wipe with a wet rag. Sprinkle borax onto a damp sponge and scrub directly over scummy surfaces, rinsing thoroughly with clean water afterward. The mild abrasive cuts through the combination of soap residue. Tackle this once a week rather than waiting for scum to build up, since a thin layer always comes off far easier than a thick one. 25. Clean kitchen appliances. The outside of a stove or the inside of a toaster oven collects grease in a way that plain soap and water often can't fully cut. Sprinkle borax onto a damp cloth and wipe down greasy surfaces, rinsing with a second clean. Borax breaks down cooking grease and food splatter more effectively than water alone. For dials, handles, and other small crevices, dip an old toothbrush into a borax and water paste to reach the grime. A cloth alone can't. 24. Wash mildew from outdoor furniture. Have you ever noticed how quickly cushions and furniture left outside develop dark mildew spots after a rainy week? Mix half a cup of borax into a gallon of warm water. Scrub the mildewed spots with a stiff brush dipped in the solution. Borax has natural fungicidal properties that help kill the mold and mildew spores responsible for those dark patches rather than just scrubbing away the visible surface stain. Treating furniture early in the season helps prevent the deeper staining that mildew causes the longer it's left untouched. 23. Clean and deodorize refrigerators. A refrigerator interior holds on to spilled and forgotten food, smells more stubbornly than almost any other kitchen surface. Dissolve 2 tablespoons of borax into a quart of warm water, then wipe down every shelf, drawer. Borax cuts through sticky spills while neutralizing the odor compounds that linger in an enclosed. Dry each surface thoroughly with a separate cloth afterward, since any leftover moisture can encourage the very smells you just worked to remove. 22. Remove odors from athletic shoes by sprinkling and vacuuming afterward. Shoes that come home smelling like the end of a long practice need more than a day of airing out. Sprinkle a generous amount of borax directly inside each shoe. Let it sit overnight. Borax absorbs the moisture and odor-causing bacteria built up from sweat far more effectively than a scented insert ever could. Repeat weekly for shoes that see heavy daily wear, and always vacuum out every trace before putting the shoe back on. 21. Use as a metalworking flux for soldering or welding. Long before specialty flux pastries lined hardware store shelves, borax was doing this exact job in barns and workshops. Dissolve borax in hot water to form a saturated paste. Borax prevents oxide from forming on the heated metal surface. Always work in a well-ventilated space when heating borax, since the fumes released can irritate the lungs if inhaled directly over time. 20. Clean grout between tiles. Grimy grout lines running between bathroom or kitchen tiles darken over time in a way that a mop never quite reaches. Mix borax with just enough water to form a thick paste. Spread it into the grout lines with an old toothbrush. The abrasive paste works down into the porous grout to lift out ground-in dirt that regular cleaning misses entirely. Rinse thoroughly with clean water afterward, and grout lines that had gone gray often come back to something close to their original color. 19. Discourage mice along baseboards. Mice traveling the same routes along a baseboard night after night can sometimes be nudged elsewhere with a simple deterrent. Sprinkle a thin line of borax along baseboards and known entry points where mice have been active, since many find the powder unpleasant to walk through repeatedly. This isn't a complete solution on its own. Keep any borax used this way well away from pets that might walk through and lick their paws afterward. 18. Deodorize carpets before vacuuming. A carpet that's picked up months of foot traffic and pet smells freshens up with more than a can of spray. Sprinkle borax evenly across the entire carpet, let it sit for at least 30 minutes, then vacuum thoroughly. Borax absorbs trapped odors and a bit of surface moisture within the carpet fibers rather than simply covering the smell with fragrance. Doing this once a month keeps a carpet smelling genuinely clean rather than freshly perfumed over old odors. 17. Whiten dull or yellowed clothes. Whites that have gone dingy and yellow over time don't automatically need to be replaced. Add half a cup of borax to a load of white laundry along with your regular detergent. Borax helps lift the mineral buildup in body oils that cause whites to yellow. For particularly dull whites, soak the garments in a borax and warm water solution for an hour before washing for a more noticeable brightening effect. 16. Clean and deodorize garbage disposals. A garbage disposal that smells even when it's not running usually has buildup clinging to the blades and walls below the drain. Pour a quarter cup of borax down the disposal followed by a cup of hot water. Borax breaks down the grease and food residue that builds up out of sight while neutralizing the odors that residue creates. Finish by running cold water through for a minute afterward, since cold water helps keep any remaining grease solidified enough for the blades to fully clear it out. 15. Help control bed bugs in mattresses. Grandma's generation dealt with bed bugs long before modern extermination methods existed, though the fix was never a perfect one. Sprinkle borax lightly along mattress seams, tufts, and the bed frame. The powder's drying effect can damage the outer coating of bed bugs and their eggs on contact. For anything beyond a very minor issue, this is best used alongside thorough washing, steam treatment, and professional pest control rather than as a standalone fix. 14. Clean china and restore its appearance. Tea and coffee stains built up inside china cups over years of use lift more easily than most people expect. Dissolve 2 tablespoons of borax into a sink of warm water. The mild solution breaks down tannin stains without the abrasive scrubbing that could dull a delicate glaze. Avoid this method on pieces with gold or metallic trim, since the solution can dull or damage delicate gilding over repeated use. 13. Remove carpet stains. A fresh spill on carpet responds best to quick action and a simple borax solution. Dissolve 2 tablespoons of borax into a cup of warm water. Blot the stain first with a clean cloth. Borax helps break down the stain's bond with the carpet fibers. Rinse the area with a cloth dampened in plain water afterward, and let the carpet air dry completely before walking on it again. 12. Freshen storage bins, trash containers, and other odor-prone household containers. A plastic storage bin that's held damp gear or forgotten leftovers tends to hold onto the smell long after it's emptied. Sprinkle a light dusting of borax across the bottom of the empty. Borax absorbs lingering odors trapped in the plastic surface rather than just masking them with a spray. This trick works just as well on coolers, diaper pails, and any other container that's prone to holding on to smells between uses. 11. Unclog slow drains. A slow-draining sink often just needs a bit of help breaking up the buildup clinging to the inside of the pipe. Pour half a cup of borax down the drain, followed by a cup of vinegar. The reaction between the two helps loosen grease and grime, coating the pipe walls. Doing this monthly as maintenance keeps most slow drains from turning into a full clog in the first place. 10. Clean bathtubs. A bathtub ringed with soap scum and hard water spots responds to the same basic method used on a porcelain sink. Sprinkle borax across a damp tub, scrub with a sponge in circular motions. The mild abrasive lifts built-up grime without scratching the tub's surface the way a harsher cleaner or pad might. For a tub with a stubborn ring, let a thicker paste sit on the area for 10 minutes before scrubbing for noticeably better results. 9. Kill fleas in carpets. A flea problem tracked in by a family pet calls for treating the carpet itself, not just the animal. Sprinkle borax evenly across the carpet, working it gently into the fibers with a broom. The powder's drying effect dehydrates flea larvae and eggs hidden deep in the carpet fibers, where a spray often can't fully reach. Vacuum a second time a few days later to catch any newly hatched fleas, and keep pets off the carpet until it's been fully vacuumed clean. 8. Clean bathroom tiles. Bathroom tiles dulled by soap residue and hard water brighten up with a simple scrub rather than a specialty tile cleaner. Mix borax with a small amount of water into a paste, spread it across the tile with a sponge. The mild abrasive cuts through the buildup that dulls tile over time without scratching the glazed surface underneath. Rinse the whole wall thoroughly afterward, since leftover residue can attract new grime faster than a clean surface would. 7. Clean countertops. Kitchen countertops covered in cooking residue and everyday grime. Clean up well with a simple borax solution instead of a specialty spray. Dissolve 2 tablespoons of borax into a quart of warm water. Wipe the counter down with a cloth dampened in the mixture, then rinse with a second clean. Borax cuts through grease and light, staining without leaving behind a chemical smell some store-bought cleaners do. Wipe the counter fully dry afterward, since standing moisture on certain stone or laminate surfaces can leave its own faint mark over time. 6. Soak musty or mildewed linens. Linens pulled out of storage. Smelling musty don't need to be thrown out just because they've been sitting for a season. Dissolve a cup of borax into a sink or basin of warm water. Submerge the linens completely. Borax's mild fungicidal properties help break down the mildew responsible for the musty smell rather than simply covering it with fragrance. For deeply musty linens, an overnight soak followed by drying fully in direct sunlight finishes the job especially well. 5. Remove stains from mattresses. Did you know that you can treat a mattress stain without soaking the mattress through completely? Mix 2 tablespoons of borax into a cup of warm water. Dab the solution onto the stain with a cloth. Borax helps break the stain's hold on the mattress fabric. Let the spot air dry fully, ideally near an open window or fan, since trapped moisture inside a mattress can lead to its own set of problems. 4. Kill water bugs. Large water bugs that favor damp basements and drains respond to the same bait principle that works on their cockroach cousins. Mix equal parts borax and sugar, then place small amounts near drains, damp corners. The sugar draws them in while the borax damages their exoskeleton and digestive system once ingested. Keep the mixture away from any drain water directly, since bait left in standing moisture washes away before it has a chance to work. 3. Pre-soak greasy work clothes before laundering. Work clothes that come home covered in grease need more than a regular detergent cycle to come fully clean. Dissolve a cup of borax into a basin of hot water, submerge the greasy garments. Borax alkalinity helps break down oil and grease at a molecular level. Grandma always soaked overnight for the heaviest grease stains, since the extra time made an obvious difference by wash day. 2. Clean stainless steel sinks. A stainless steel sink covered in water spots and light scratches from daily use brightens up with a simple borax scrub. Sprinkle borax directly onto a damp cloth. The mild abrasive lifts mineral deposits and light grime without scratching the finish the way a rougher pad could. Buff the sink dry with a separate towel afterward for a noticeably brighter shine that lasts longer than a quick rinse alone. 1. Make an all-purpose household cleaner. Every trick on this list points back to the one habit Grandma relied on more than any other. Dissolve 2 tablespoons of borax into a quart of warm water in a spray bottle, and you have a genuine all-purpose cleaner ready for counters, appliances, and floors throughout the house. Borax's mild alkalinity cuts through grease and grime on nearly any hard surface. When best kept off aluminum, can discolor with repeated contact. Keep a labeled bottle mixed and ready under the sink, and it becomes the one product capable of replacing nearly everything else on this entire list. Once you start using borax the way Grandma did, you'll never look at that yellow box the same way again.